Hello and welcome. We are the Ministry of the Real Truth, and we strive to bring you the real truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in regards to the biblical scriptures. We don't deal in hype, fluff, or other silly nonsense or total BS. We have policies in place both for our YouTube channel and our business, our personal business from home. That honesty is our best policy, so we strive to be honest in all we do, all we say, and so forth. We also believe in old time chivalry. Nobody practices that anymore. Nobody practices that these days as far as we know. We did receive a comment from a certain person on our YouTube channel claiming that the native born Aramaic or Tab Asheret Aramaic Lishana Atika Sapreya manuscript translator Victor N. Alexander has been pulling the wool over everybody's eyes. We don't believe that for a second, for a moment. We have spent time contacting him through email. We've never talked to him face to face or verbally, but we do believe he is a very nice, honest man, and he's never tried to pull the wool over anyone's eyes with the translation project that he's done. He's never tried to fool anybody by hiding the so-called fact that Jesus was the king of Edessa, or the king of Egypt, or a prince, or the son of Helena, some woman, right? All this speculative garbage that this person had brought to us. They then claimed that they had read, they had read extensively Victor N. Alexander's translation project, which was formerly on the website online, va.com, which was taken down unfairly around 2016. So we believe that they are full of it. Nothing personal against this person, but this is just how we see it exactly from what you've told us. Okay? That you've read all his works. We don't believe so. You would have to have done it before 2016, before it was taken down. And then you would have to have known pretty much what we know at the Ministry of the Real Truth. We are very doubtful that you do. You're making these bold, speculative assumptions, claims. You're lying to us through your teeth. Okay? We don't believe you for a second. But it's nothing personal, it's just how we see it again. Okay? From what you've told us. Yes, Victor N. Alexander has never tried to pull the wool over our eyes or anybody else's. He would probably be questioned by priests of the Apostolic Church of the East, the Syrian Apostolic Orthodox Church of the East, on why he was doing that. Especially if he bought a Bible format copy of the Old Testament Tab Asheret manuscripts and the Galilean Aramaic New Testament manuscripts, of which he translated into the nearest English equivalent. He did start off with the Syriac Peshitta, we believe, and maybe it was the Western Peshitta, but this priest of the church said, what are you doing? Don't translate that one, it's wrong. And then he figured out, he was told that's the Western Peshitta. It's a mashup of the King James Version that the Western Christians, the missionaries in around about 1901, who went to Urfa, Syria, and tried to translate the King James Bible, 1611 Bible, into Syriac, into Syrian, and failed because there's no grammar at the time. So this high priest told her, well, you don't use that one, it's wrong, it's bad, we don't use it in the Apostolic Church of the East. And he bought this Bible format of the Tab Asheret, the original ancient, very old Aramaic manuscripts of the Old Testament, and the Galilean New Testament manuscripts from this priest. Went through a depression for about a year, got over it, and then started his translation work again. I remember seeing something about Mari or something like that. One of these supposed priests of the Apostolic Church of the East who are associated with it being suspended and all this sort of stuff for his false teachings or something along those lines. So yeah, if it's true, I guess they were correcting this guy, because if he's a priest of their church apparently and he's telling rubbish, well, they have to step in and correct him, right? Deal with him the way they do. So we don't think Victor N. Alexander would do the same sort of thing. Someone would catch on, probably from that church, maybe pay him a visit and give him a telling off or whatever, right? They would reveal that he was lying through his teeth. We have actually met Syrian people who were in our country and they're protesting about something going on in their country from here. And we talked to them about this Victor N. Alexander, and they said he is right on the button in everything he says. Yeah, they use the old Tab Ashrit as liturgy in their church because nobody speaks it anymore. If there's people that do, they're too old and they don't know English. And they also use Arabic. So they are in total agreement, the Syrians are in total agreement with this Victor N. Alexander, a native-born Aramaic-speaking translator from Mesopotamia, Syria. And he's made it his mission, his life's mission, to bring what the original ancient Tab Ashrit Aramaic Lishana Artika Sapreya manuscripts and the Galilean Aramaic New Testament manuscripts actually say. And from what we have studied on him, about him, all his translation project notes, etc., we verify that he is not one pulling the wool over anybody's eyes as claimed by this particular person. So in sum, they're talking a load of garbage. Again, nothing personal, it's just what we speculate from what you've told us, person. So we were looking for this PDF that this person suggested, a book by Ralph Ellis. We found it, but we had to sign up, go through all this process. We couldn't be bothered. We thought we could just download it, but we had to go through all this rigmarole just to get this one PDF. We keep looking for it, and we'll probably download it for free eventually. So we looked behind the scenes. We used investigative journalism to find the dirt on people, right? To bring you the truth, because these people might be putting forth a great facade and you really believe everything they say, but behind the scenes they're up to no good. So we bring that information as we find it to you, so you know, okay, this guy is tricky, deceitful, oh, look what he's doing behind the scenes, this is not a man of God. So we found this particular person, Bishop Ray Taylor PhD, online, because we're looking for, is there a possibility that this Ralph Ellis has been debunked by somebody. And we came across this article, A Scholarly Critique of Ralph Ellis's Speculative Histories by Bishop Ray Taylor PhD. So he's qualified. You can take him seriously as word. Ralph Ellis has made a career out of re-imaging history in ways that are at best wildly speculative and at worst pure garbage. His body of work, including books like King Jesus and Jesus, King of Edessa. Edessa is Urfa, or Urfa in Arabic, today's modern Turkey. So it's not in Syria, as this person may have stated us. His body of work, including books like King Jesus and Jesus, King of Edessa, represents a glaring departure from the methods and standards of credible historical scholarship. While his claims may appeal to readers fascinated by revisionist theories and conspiracy narratives, they utterly fail to withstand critical scrutiny. Core issues with Ralph Ellis's theories. 1. Pervasive speculation masquerading as scholarship. Ellis's work is built almost entirely on speculative connections that lack any grounding in primary sources or established academic research. He concocts, or makes up, elaborate historical narratives, such as the idea that Jesus was an Egyptian prince or a minor Edessan king, without providing substantive evidence. He's got nothing to back it up. Instead, he relies on tenuous linguistic coincidences, cherry-picked historical fragments, and outright leaps of logic. For instance, in Jesus, king of Edessa, Ellis argues that Jesus of Nazareth was not a Jewish rabbi or educator or teacher, but instead King Isa's Manu of Edessa, a figure whose existence and connection to the biblical Jesus are entirely speculative. This notion ignores the overwhelming textual, archaeological and historical evidence that places Jesus within the country of the context of first century Jewish culture in Rome in occupied Palestine. Scholars such as E.P. Sanders and Bart D. Ehrman have meticulously demonstrated Jesus' Jewish roots and his historical milieu. Findings: Ellis dismisses in favour of his outlandish theory. 2. A complete misunderstanding of historical methodology. Ellis routinely conflates possibility with probability. He tries to mix one with the other, treating conjecture as fact. Historical scholarship requires rigorous analysis of primary sources, contextual interpretation, and the ability to evaluate evidence critically. Ellis, by contrast, approaches history with a connect the dots mentality, creating patterns and narratives where none exist. For example, his frequent use of linguistic parallels, such as claiming that the name Jesus is derived from Isas, is deeply flawed. Linguistic similarities do not equate to historical causation, a principle well understood by historians and philologists. His conclusions are reminiscent of amateur pseudo-historians, half-truth historians, who use surface-level resemblances to support sensationalist claims. 3. Disregard for scholarly consensus and evidence. Ellis's theories are conspicuously absent from peer-reviewed academic literature, a glaring indicator of their lack of credibility. So they basically just don't know him. They're ignoring him, not taking him as credible, not taking him seriously. He dismisses the overwhelming scholarly consensus on early Christianity, ancient Judaism and Greco-Roman history in favour of his idiosyncratic interpretations. For example, his reinterpretation of biblical texts and their historical context blatantly disregards centuries of rigorous scholarship from historians like Richard Balcom, Jesus and the Eyewitnesses, and Paula Fredrickson, Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews. Furthermore, Ellis's theories fail to address basic counter-arguments, such as the complete absence of his proposed connections in contemporary historical records. If Jesus were truly a king of Edessa, why do none of the extensive Roman, Jewish or Christian texts from the period mention such a figure? There was actually a king of Edessa, Abgar the Black, or known as the Black, possibly because he was black. He who had heard of the Christ, and he wrote him a letter apparently saying, can you come and visit me? You can actually come and stay in my kingdom. There's plenty of room here. We won't get in each other's way, all that sort of stuff. Plenty of room for you. Really like to talk to you because he had some sort of illness, and also his son did. So he wanted him to come and talk to him and heal him. But Jesus said, well, I can't because I'm about my father's business. He wrote a letter and he gave it to Thaddeus, who then took it to him, saying, oh, sorry, I can't be here. And he obviously was crucified. But this extended disciple, Thaddeus or Adai, took the face cloth that covered Jesus' face in the tomb, the shroud, piece of the shroud, to the king Abgar, who read the letter and was healed through this cloth, etc. Him and his son. And then it was later stolen. Probably became that Turin, the shroud of Turin. So that is the king of Edessa, one of the kings of Edessa, or Urfa, now modern Turkey. 4. Outrageous and absurd claims. Ellis's works are riddled with claims that are quite frankly absurd. His attempt to place Jesus in Egypt as a descendant of the pharaohs, King Jesus, or to link him to British royalty, Cleopatra to Christ, strains the limits of credulity. These assertions are not only unsupported but also undermine his credibility as a writer of serious history. Such claims trivialize the complex and nuanced work of legitimate historians who painstakingly reconstruct the past based on evidence. Ellis's approach, by contrast, is more akin or more alike to storytelling than historical investigation. 5. The danger of pseudo-history. One of the most troubling aspects of Ellis's work is its potential to mislead readers who lack the tools to critically evaluate historical claims. Pseudo-historical narratives like his can contribute to public misunderstanding of history and erode trust in legitimate scholarship. Conclusion. Ralph Ellis's books represent a stark example of pseudo-historical writing. It's half-truths at its worst. They are devoid of credible evidence. There's nothing to back them up. Built on a foundation of speculation and utterly dismissive of established scholarship. So he doesn't acknowledge any of the works of the other scholars, highly qualified scholars. To describe his work as pure garbage is not hyperbole. It's not a fairy tale, it's fact. It is an accurate assessment of the level of intellectual rigour and integrity he brings to the table, or lack of it. Ellis's speculative fantasies serve only to muddy the waters of historical understanding, appealing to those who value sensationalism over substance. His books should not be mistaken for serious scholarship, but rather dismissed as the absurd imaginings of a writer more interested in storytelling than truth. Readers seeking genuine historical insights would do well to look elsewhere. Yeah, by the sounds of it, avoid his books like the plague. And we provide information on this particular man who did that page. And this is the biography of Bishop Ray Taylor, PhD. So he's got some qualifications there. Bishop's podcast, 10/24/24. So it's pretty recent. He says his journey into religious studies began with an entirely different path of mind. Originally, he planned to become a psychologist, drawn to the complexities of the human mind and a desire to help people. That path took a turn when he worked in a Christian ministry where he was tasked with counselling people. He quickly realised that that was not his calling. What he did find fascinating during that time, though, however, was the knowledge of ancient cultures and religions, an interest that became a passion, then an obsession for him. This obsession grew into a quest for deeper understanding, pushing him to pursue higher education. He earned a master's degree and eventually a doctorate in religious studies with a focus on the historicity of religious texts. His strength lies in collaborating with paleontologists and archaeologists, so they get together, they talk, right? To date ancient manuscripts and uncover the context in which these texts were created. He never set out to become a teacher, but for a brief time he taught at Christopher Newport University. It wasn't a role he embraced fully, and his tenure there was short-lived, so he didn't last long doing it. Before he got sick of it or whatever. Got out of there. Academically, he always excelled, though he didn't seek recognition for it. A very humble man. He didn't consider himself an exceptional scholar, but rather someone driven by an insatiable curiosity and a desire to understand. His first language is Icelandic, and his thinking often bridges the two words of Icelandic and English, which can sometimes cause him to make mistakes when conveying complex ideas verbally. He also has a tendency toward overthinking. Don't many of us? We know we do. What some might call paralysis of analysis, which has led to sleepless nights and anxiety. Yeah, it does keep you up, right? And he has a somewhat polarising personality, which he openly acknowledges. He doesn't tolerate dishonesty or pretense, neither do we at the Ministry of the Raw Truth. And he has little patience for those he perceives as insincere or condescending. Yep, same. We have the same outlook on that. At the same time, he deeply values intellectual discussions and enjoys connecting with people who share a genuine love for knowledge and truth, as we do at the Ministry of the Raw Truth. Though he identifies as a Christ follower, his approach to faith is unconventional. He's agnostic in the sense that he believes in finding truth within and rejecting dogma, as we do at the Ministry of the Raw Truth. He doesn't align with organised religion, and he's critical of systems that perpetuate control and ignorance. We are the same. His YouTube channel, Wise as a Serpent, reflects these values with the help of his friend and colleague Dr. Robert M. Price. We remember that guy. we're thinking of another one without glasses, I think it is, who is quite abusive, supposedly abusive to his son, etc. But this guy, Price, I think we left a comment under one of his videos, and he gave us a really nice reply. He's, yeah, a really nice guy. Okay. So this particular person uses the platform, a social chat platform, YouTube, to share his research and perspectives on religion, history and culture. While he has no plans to write a book or seek widespread academic acclaim, he aims to provoke thought and inspire others to question and explore, just like us, the Ministry of the Real Truth. We haven't come to answer all the questions, but to question all the answers. That's what the guy said on the TV show Kung Fu. I've not come to answer all the questions, but to question all the answers. Kwai Chan Kane, is it? At the end of the day, his goal is simple: to engage in meaningful discussions, share the truths that he uncovers, and connect with those who value honesty and intellectual curiosity. He's not for everyone, and he's fine with that. But for those who value authenticity and critical thinking, he hopes you'll find something worthwhile in his work, and perhaps you'll even subscribe to his YouTube channel. Go check it out, see if you like it, and then subscribe. So far, so good. We think we might go do that. Have a look at his website, his YouTube channel, and then subscribe to him. If you liked this particular video, this critique of the said Robert Ellis and his books, then give us a like, add your comments below the video, subscribe to our channel, and then go share this video and our others on our YouTube channel with all those you know, your family, friends, your neighbours, strangers, etc.